evening. Off you go.
It's afternoon, Crabbers. Afternoon, Scott. I'm sure you're absolutely fed up to the back teeth of talking about goal scoring and all that stuff. Just more generally, I wanted to ask you about statistics, because we have more than we've ever had before in football. And when I was growing up, you had sort of shots on target and shots off target and the scoreline, and that was about it. Probably the same for you. There are so many around, other than the final score in the game. Are there more useful statistics? Are some of them more useful to you than others?
Yeah, of course. There's certain elements of stats that you can relate to, certainly as a coach and a team, in terms of how you're developing a team. At the same time, it's where you're getting them. There's totally different forums, and how one judges, a goal scoring opportunity and how they rate that goal scoring opportunity in an XG can be very different from one platform to the other. So I think it depends where you're getting them from it in that sense, and being very consistent on that. But for sure, the way football's gone and the development of football, when I was playing, like you said, it was practically just shots on target, and it was something which was quite easily relatable. Whereas now there is a vast number of numbers that we constantly are using in terms of to give us some sort of understanding of where we are as a team and where we need to improve. So yeah, some are helpful, some may not. Some are pretty. Joules, for instance, what one relates as a joule in a stat can vary. So there's certain ones which are pretty inconsistent, and you probably don't relate to a little bit, because you don't know what their remits are on that really.
When you come to the end of the game and you get to the analysis part of it, do you find that those statistics that you find helpful, and as you've described to us there, objective, don't change from place to place, do you find that they tell you a different story to what you see with your eye and what you feel on the touchline, or is your instinct generally pretty accurate?
No, of course not. Sometimes your instinct's a little bit off. So how you've probably read a game live in the moment, in that sense, sometimes a little bit different. But the majority of the time, no, it's not the case. So the majority of the time, your instincts is probably the one what you're going with, and is probably correct. So yeah, and yeah, you're looking at them numbers and how you feel about the game, or how you saw the game at that moment in time. Numbers will probably relate to that a little bit. So there's normally a general, normally 9 times out of 10, how you feel about a certain moment in games, or the swing of a game, or should we have beat QPR at the weekend in terms of our chances in first half, certainly. That feeling's normally pretty consistent.
Sometimes does what you get from that analysis back up that feeling then? If you come away going, we should have beaten QPR in this game, and then you look at the facts and go, actually, yeah, we really should have done.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And 9 times out of 10, you don't really need stats at that moment. The feeling is the feeling. And a game like the weekend, take maybe the second half. I think the second half, for sure, there wasn't really any clear-cut chances, but certainly first half, we got in some real good areas. They'd made some real last-ditch blocks to prevent a goal. We've got into good areas and probably lacked that little final bit of quality in the final third, and that was probably the reflection of the game in-game, and that was probably the reflection after as well, and that was the case really. So I said that after the game the weekend, how I compare it to, I always use the analogy of a boxing match, but it was a boxing match that was probably going to end in the 9th or the 10th, while you go in there wanting to try and get the job done early. That wasn't the case, and at that moment really you're jabbing away and really having real control, and you need to try and finish the game in around the 9th and the 10th in boxing analogy. The opposition, fair play to them, were a little bit bruised and battered, and we didn't manage to finish that off, and obviously a draw comes at the end of it. So yeah, a lot of positives from the weekend, and I stand by that. After my general feeling after the game was exactly what I thought. There was some real good quality. There was also some bits that for sure we need to improve on, and that was pretty evident, and we'll keep nudging away like we have done this week regarding that.
To continue the analogy, as you look to the next fight, you've proved you've got a good chin and you can take a punch. How do you do more damage?
Well, I think first and foremost, you're right. I think that we give ourselves a real solid foundation in this team, a solid team. We face a different challenge the weekend. It's a new challenge for us for sure, in terms of the way Millwall play, there'll be another test for us defensively at the weekend, which will be different to probably what we face. Some similarities, but for sure a little bit different. And then regarding the other side, the hardest thing in the game is scoring and creating goals in certain moments. That last phase against stubborn teams as such, and that's very, very difficult in certain moments. And again, I say it most weeks, Dan, but the facts and just pure facts. This is not me hiding around anything. Is work. You know, you can't take shortcuts on that. There's a clear area where we need to improve in certain moments, and we'll work tirelessly to keep improving it. And I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that we'll get to that point. Now, if it was easy as just pressing the fast forward button or skipping 4 chapters in the first book you open, then I wish that was the case. It isn't, and this is again a new team that we're constantly working with, trying to create these spaces in these tight areas, which we're going to have to operate against teams that come and become quite stubborn. And yeah, we need to keep working with that, really.
I've heard you talk before, and I've spoken to you before, in fact, about culture and the characters that you've got in there, and the way that they receive things and the way that they interact with each other. When you're sat with your players in a room a bit like this, maybe a bit nicer than this, having the conversations about the previous game, what you need to do better, constructive criticism stuff, how important is the response that you get from them? How important is it that they take it the right way and they are energised and determined to put it right?
The most important thing. And fundamentally that can't happen overnight, and that's been 8 weeks, 10 weeks of one being confident in a room, being confident to take ownership, responsibility, hold our hands up first and foremost when we've done wrong or we've fouled in certain moments, and owning that, really. Never hiding or shirking. This is never personal, and like I said, that's culturally, you need to develop that. You go into a room of men on the first day and start pointing fingers or exposing people's weaknesses like anything, like my wife. You have to build that trust, and you have to build that it's coming from a good place, and we need to understand where we all need to improve. Like I said, never nothing's personal. We're a team here. We're a group of men that have one goal, and that's for all us to be successful. So how you deliver that message is key. And for sure, we've got every bit of that. You know, I'm a firm believer in, first and foremost, meetings on a Monday, Tuesday, whenever they may be, that we highlight our faults, we highlight where we can improve. And for sure, it will be the same if it was we're 10 unbeaten and we're free throwing and scoring, or whatever it may be. That's always going to be the case. You're constantly looking for edge, you're constantly looking for improvement, really. And that will never fade away, really.
Is it easier to have those team meetings than it is to have the conversation at home then, where you have to take responsibility?
Yeah, it probably is, yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Just as far as your approach to the players, therefore, does it follow that the more time you work with them, the more of that constructive criticism there'll be, the more you're able, and the more they're able with each other, I suppose, to say, that's the issue, we need to work on that?
Yeah, look, I've been involved in, as a player, I've been involved in very good teams that have won Premier Leagues. I've been involved in not so good teams in terms of being relegated. And the key fundamental, first and foremost, is the culture and the environment you create around that squad. The comfortableness that one player feels in the team to know that, yeah, we're all on this page and we're all on this ship together. And at times there's going to be uncomfortable conversations, and at times it's going to be certain players what are highlighted in a room which no one likes. Human nature is no one likes that. The true testament of a character, of successful people and successful teams are the ones who can stand a position in certain moments. Of course, I'll be the first to stand a position on things if I felt that it wasn't right. But then at the same time, have the humility to, yeah, okay, what do we need to do? I need to be better here. I need to do this better, and we own that. And the writing factor is we then come out of that meeting room and get to work and go and put that into action and keep improving.
You're on a pretty healthy unbeaten run in the Championship. I think Millwall are 4 games unbeaten, won the last couple. Does that suggest that this might be quite close?
Yeah, this will be a tough game, for sure. This will be a tough game. Like I said at the top here, this is a tough place to go. Certain style in which they play. Like I said, there's a big test ahead of this young team at the weekend, for sure. In saying that, we're on a good run, and we're in a good place in that sense. I think we can go and bring our quality to Millwall and cause them massive problems as well, really. So we need to adopt the game and certainly have a mindset going into this game of what we're going to face and the challenges we're going to face, while also understanding of where we can bring our quality this weekend and cause Millwall some problems as well.
I suppose it's another aspect of the culture of football, isn't it? The way that you play, the environment that you play it in, the way that your supporters are. Do you think Millwall do that well, in the sense that regardless of the players or the manager, it tends to go a certain way when you go to the Den?
Yeah, for sure. This is a tough place to go, tough environment to go. Some may see it tough, some may see it as a great place to go and a real big challenge, and that's how we'll be adopting. So yeah, we'll have our away fans there who have been nothing short of incredible for us this year. To be quite honest with you, the travelling supporters have given us every bit of that extra bit of fight and spirit and desire at times what we need. And again, I've no doubt that there'll be a driving force at the weekend for us as well to help us along that.
When you've got a West Ham connection, you're probably not the most popular person in the stadium, are you?
No, I've been there a couple of times and not the friendliest place at times.
Do you mind? Do you mind that getting a bit?
No, it's just part and parcel of it, isn't it? Really, I suppose it's just sometimes the pantomime of the football of what we're in, and probably a little bit older and wiser now and been around it a long time to know that that's the way it is. So no, it's all fine.
And I know every game is different and every opposition is different, and therefore your plan is different. Broadly speaking, are you going to encounter fewer scenarios where you're asked to have a lot of the ball and break a team down away from home than you get in at Turf Moor?
No, I think it will probably be pretty similar. Look, they'll bring the game to us for sure in the way they play, and we're going to have to bring the game to them in our moments for sure as well. So look, there's nothing in this game that's any different in certain aspects regarding us and how we attack this game. There's elements what of course a different way in which Millwall play in certain moments that we have to be aware of. But I suspect we'll take the game to Millwall like in their spurts. They'll take the game to us, so we need to be ready.
Thanks, Scott. Good luck. Matt's a proper journalist. He's got stuff written down, so you'll get some good questions now.
Hi, Scott. To continue the boxing theme, so how much of a difference would it make to land sort of a knockdown in the first round, get an early goal when you are coming against those teams that sit back and in that low block?
Well, the fine margins were that, wouldn't they, really, at the weekend? I think I said that after, to be fair. The fine margins of what we do and in professional sport is that we score. Connor Roberts scores that goal. It's arguably on a reel at the end of the season in terms of a brilliant play, technical high ability. And we go and win the game 1-2-0, and it's a great day. It's a brilliant result. So for sure, you're always wanting to get an early goal. You're always wanting to try and put your stamp on it. That wasn't the case at the weekend, and we drew the game. But yeah, you're right in that. You want to try and get an early goal as much as you can. That's the whole aim.
Ask you about Enoch Adjai, his first appearances for the club. A young player, isn't he? What have you made of his performances and what has he shown in training? Yeah,
I mean, Enoch's been out for some time last year. Obviously, had come back from a pretty big injury, so was around Enoch when I first come in. Pretty a talent which we can see, a young boy still loads and loads to do in terms of moving his game forward, but clear ability. And needs to keep learning and keep working hard, and we have great aspirations for Enoch. We need to tread carefully, certainly coming out of a big injury last year as well. Good game in midweek for the 21s, which was pleasing to give him that game time, and obviously try and keep giving him some minutes and exposure to first team football really.
Am I right in saying you're without Zian Fleming this weekend, obviously with the Millwall connection? Does that leave you a little light on options with Lau Foster out injured as well up front?
It leaves us lightish, but I mean, look, we've got Jay, Andreas both in that position as well, so we have cover there at this moment in time, and of course them boys will be itching one of them will be itching to play the game at the weekend. So of course we miss Lau, it's been out, we miss Flem, but we've got we've got at this moment in time Jay and Andreas, who no doubt will come in and do a great job for us as well.
And in terms of team news, what's the latest? I saw Halmar Dell and Nathan Redmond in training this week as well. It must be a huge bonus for them.
Yeah, both back in training. Still early stages for both of them. Just really low level stuff, but they're on the grass and they're back with a group, which is very, very pleasing. But like I said, probably still a little way away from being selectable for first team, but they're definitely moving in the right direction, which is pleasing.
What's the situation with Mike Trezor as well? Is he available for selection yet?
Mike is now getting to the point, where he's selectable. He's been training now for a few weeks after being out, and getting him up to speed and getting some work into him. So again, hopefully, fingers crossed, he stays fit like he has done, get some more game time and training time, and we'll make that call in the coming weeks, really.
And finally, just Jeremy Sarmiento, how much progress has he made this week?
Good progress, yeah, hoping that there's an option that he makes the weekend for us. Again, won't really know that until tomorrow or Saturday, but he's definitely getting closer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.